Hi, and welcome to yet another edition of Ask Miss Judes. It's been a while, but life happens, and that's it. How have you been doing? If you're like me, things have not been as smooth and as easy as we'd like. But guess what? Today I want to talk to you about a very obvious fact, which I have found to be very helpful. And that is that the moon is round. I got that encouraging word from studying a devotional a few months ago. And it was about a pastor who had visited a family who just lost a teenage daughter to cancer. And when they got to the house, they found a place on the footmat that said the moon is round, which made them a bit curious. And when they asked, it turned out that the little girl, between her diagnosis and when she finally died, was keeping a journal of how things were just shaping up. And on one day, she noted that in spite of the fact that when she looked out, she only saw like the crescent or half a moon, the moon is round. So even when our perspective doesn't see the whole picture, it doesn't take away from the fact that the moon is round. When we see only a tiny line for a new moon, the moon is still round. Our perspective, what we're seeing is not the entire picture. I want us to relate that to life because this has been a particularly challenging year. A particularly challenging year from whichever angle you want to look at it. In individual lives, in the lives of corporations, in people's professions, in our interrelationships with one another, even the stress on families, in educational institutions, students are having a challenge just balancing all of what is happening. In the midst of all of that, I would say to myself, the moon is round. It became almost like a mantra that I now use for other situations. The moon is round. I may not see the full picture. It is likely that my situations right now are so challenging that I cannot even bring myself to see the full picture. It does not take away from the fact that the moon is round. Now, when I acknowledge that, it gives me an opportunity to center myself, to say, okay, this is happening to me right now, but what is the bigger picture? In the bigger scheme of things, things will be fine. If I hold on to my faith, if I draw strength from my sources, for me, it is God. I draw strength from God. I draw strength from my husband. I draw strength from my children. I draw strength from my parents, my brothers and my sisters, from close friends who mean a lot to me. Who are your sources of strength? Where do you go when you are only seeing a thin line and wondering if really this moon is round, or is this all there is to life? Some have lost loved ones. Some have lost their jobs. Some have lost relationships. Some have lost huge opportunities. But I want to encourage you, especially as we're winding down to the end of this really horrible year, that we remember that we are still here for a reason. Even those who lost loved ones have opportunity to look back and be grateful for the times they had with those loved ones. The fact that we're still here means that there is an assignment that we are yet to complete. And especially for those of us who are parents, spouses, siblings, aunts, those who have significant relationships, I want to appeal to you to take the time to evaluate those relationships, to value what God has allowed us to have. In spite of all the chaos that we've experienced this year, we are still standing. There must be a reason why we're still here. Let us make the most of our time so that those who are connected to us for good will be grateful that we're a part of their lives. Life is so intricately connected that we cannot pretend that all is well if we do not look out for one another. The only time we will really get to do well together as the human race is when we learn to love each other, respect each other, provide a certain level of understanding and support. Again, I want to appeal to you as this year is drawing to an end, that you take time to take stock. What is it that you will hold on to when times get tough? For me, among many other things, it's a reassurance that the moon is round. And whether I see the whole picture or not, the moon is round. And if I can just hold my head up and keep faith, then that which I'm trusting will work for the better. And all around me will get to benefit from the fact that I'm centered and comfortable, confident in the God that I serve, that things will work for good. And because I am hopeful, I trust that many others will be hopeful too. Make it your duty to give hope to somebody else. And take care. I'll be talking to you again real soon. If you have any comments or questions or anything you'd like me to talk about, be free to drop a comment in the section down below. Alternatively, if you want to send an email, send it to askmissjudz@gmail.com. So that's askmzjudz@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you again real soon, and trust that, like me, you will hold on to a message of hope. The moon is round. Bye, and God bless you. No, I don't like this. I don't like this.
How do you know the moon isn't?
Today I want to talk to you on the subject of making gratitude a lifestyle.